first of all, it's so nice to virtually meet you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Of course, nice to meet you.
And if you're ready, we could just dive right into the questions.
Let's do it.
All right, perfect. So it is no surprise that, the Descendants franchise has a massive following. And how has the fan pressure or response been with kind of the OG VKs passing the torch to this next generation?
Actually, it's been surprisingly well. We've been received, with kind of open arms, it feels like.
Hmm.
I think the fandom has been really gracious towards us, new characters, which I know is not an easy thing to do, especially for me coming from being such a Descendants fan growing up.
Hmm.
The franchise holds such a special place in my heart. So I understand the like, guys, don't mess this up kind of vibe, which, we're definitely not trying to do that. I think the whole goal of this film is to continue the Descendants legacy and, hopefully just keep impacting generations because this franchise is so special and we just want to keep it going and add to the story, never taint it. But yeah, people have been really welcoming and it means the world to me.
Oh, that's amazing. And I mean, you're obviously, a young person. You're on social media a lot. So I assume you're on the pulse of it all and really kind of seeing what everybody's saying in terms of the feedback and able to kind of, modify as you go.
Right. No,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, it was funny because I have like my rap and what's my name where I say that look at all your VKs, they're all middle-aged. And that was like the
Mm-hmm.
only time that I caught some like flack for that. I mean, Red caught some flack. It's not me, it's Red. She's a villain. Of course she's gonna be a little unfiltered, but that was like the only time that people were like, girl, wait a damn minute. Like, what are you saying about our VKs?
Definitely a little savage, but as somebody who's in their 30s, I thoroughly laughed at that, and I, unashamedly 100% rock out to all of the songs from the Descendants movies. So I don't think you ruffled too many feathers.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, give her some time. She'll redeem herself once everyone watches
Right.
the movie. She's not so bad.
Definitely give her a chance. And you've been doing obviously so much press for this release of this next installment. And I'm sure you've been answering loads of questions and a lot of the same questions. What's one question that you wish somebody would ask you, but they haven't yet?
Oh, I love that question. You're so right. It's always the same. Um,
Hmm.
a question? Hmm. A good question is like, what do we think is going to happen in the next film, maybe?
Hmm.
I don't know. I think that that's fun, which my answer to that would be I don't really know. But I hope that we have like conspiracy theories like us in the cast. We always talk about like what we think the next movie will be about. Because we haven't seen any script or anything. But I have a feeling that we're gonna, dive into the time travel a little bit more. And I'm sure when we went back in time, we altered some things and, the butterfly effect is real. So I'm interested to see kind of what may have changed when me and Chloe went back in time.
Yeah, where that goes. Because, I mean, this movie does conclude with kind of Uma's ominous voiceover about consequences for, messing with the fabric of time and Red getting kind of what she wanted, but at what, expense. So
Right.
hopefully, this means Disney's got another one coming and, the future isn't too terrible and they didn't mess up someone's life too much. But it's always interesting to see kind of what direction they would go in, seeing how this one concluded since we did get some happy endings.
Right. No, yeah. The story's not over. Like every Descendants film likes to end with a little, you didn't think the story was over, did you?
Something something extra's coming. And Chloe and Red, obviously they go back in time, with the pocket watch, and they're trying to stop the Queen of Hearts from staging a coup at Auradon. If you could pick any nostalgic item from your childhood to be transformed into a time machine, what item would you choose?
Hmm. I would choose. You know what? I would choose like an American Girl doll or something. I
Oh,
had like a crazy American Girl doll collection. I was such a doll girl growing up, and Monster Highs and Barbies. So I don't know. I feel like a doll would be cute, or maybe
would
the
be
red doll.
applicable. Oh, that'd be good. I was joking the other day when I was writing these questions of how I would probably choose, since I'm a 90s kid, I would choose like a bop it and you had to like bop it and twist it or something to go back in time. That would that would have been
That's
funny.
cute. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. The 90s toys were unmatched, honestly.
Yeah. Some of them didn't make much sense, but it's just the nostalgia of like the 90s kind of circling back now that I'm like, oh yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. Good times.
totally. Everything comes back.
And you obviously got to play alongside some, amazing vocalists such as Brandy and Rita Ora. Any big lessons kind of you took away from being on set with them?
I mean, yeah, they're just incredible musicians, and it's very rare that you get to work with people that you idolize and that you kind of want to model yourself after. So having those role models, both of them to look up to and to see, in person and see just how gracious they are and how they carry themselves. It was so inspiring for me, especially as someone who is an artist and, is a singer first. I think I was just completely in awe of them. And yeah, they're both just so kind and yeah, they have just like a incredible professionalism that I hope to carry with me and yeah, kind of be a role model like them one day. So yeah, that was special.
Oh, that's amazing. I grew up on, Rogers and Hammerstein Cinderella, so seeing kind of Brandy and Paolo reprise their roles in 2024 was pretty iconic, and it was great to see that this movie, can hit the notes on, any generations. You have the young ones like my nieces who are 5 and 3 who love these movies and want to watch it. Then you have kind of the teenagers and adults that are, watching this with their kids. And it kind of is very universal with the message, and you can have a little tidbit from anybody.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the really special thing about this film is that I think it can cross so many different age ranges and different types of people that I think will, find something to love in this film. But yeah, exactly that. Having Brandy come back and reprise her role, I think that if you were a fan of the Rodgers and Hammerstein version, you're gonna just absolutely love this and love Brandy reprise her iconic role as Cinderella.
Definitely a surprise. I was excited to see that. And the overall theme kind of the Descendants movies is mostly redemption, creating a better future for everyone, and the idea that kind of good and evil really isn't so black and white after all. Which VK do you think, was the most misunderstood and got the worst reputation for no good reason?
I mean, the Queen of Hearts, really,
Mhm.
which I think, we really get to explore why the origin of kind of her villain arc and how she became this tyrant. Um, I think there's something really, really cool about that. And I think villains are just so interesting because they're the most like complex and,
Mhm.
no one starts off as a villain. Like they always have something, I feel like, that turns them into that or that sends them down that path. So I think the fact that we got to like explore that with this film and going back in time and meeting the young Queen of Hearts and seeing how she was so different from what she is now, I think that that is just going to be really fun for audiences to kind of take that journey with us and discover that.
And now, if you could, team up with any of the VKs from movies 1 to 3, who would you choose and what kind of mischief would you get into?
Ooh, I gotta go Mal and Evie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're the it
Solid.
girls. They're the it girls of the Isle of the Lost, and I feel like they would be great role models for Red and Chloe.
Yeah, definitely. Red teaming up with them would be something cool to watch. So maybe go back in time and kind of meet
Ooh.
them in a different timeline. That'd be cool. And what 3 emojis would you use to describe Descendants: The Rise of Red?
I would say probably the rose emoji, the
Mm-hmm.
little dancer emoji, and I don't know, like the magic wand emoji.
Perfect. And all the songs in this movie, are earworms. I'm waiting for the soundtrack to come out because I, need to be able to play it on the way to work. What, is one of your favorite songs from the previous installments? Like, do you find yourself singing any of the ones from the other movies?
Oh yeah, they're all so catchy. I think that that's something that Descendants nails is catchy, earwormy songs. So it makes it, so special. I would say for me, the one that gets stuck in my head, I feel like probably Ways to Be Wicked is the one I find myself singing the most.
Mm.
There's so many ways to be wicked. It's a catchy one.
They're all so catchy, like, you just can't. "Chillin' Like a Villain," like, all of them are just you wanna just hum to them while you're doing
So
dishes or
good.
whatever. And then, obviously, in addition to, the release of Descendants, you also, recently released your single Elastic back in February. What artists, kinda past or present, have influenced your music and kinda the direction that you've chosen to go in?
Ooh. I mean, I would say like Ariana,
Mhm.
would say. I mean, even Brandy, I think in some capacity, definitely like loved listening to her growing up, and my dad like really exposed me to her music at a young age, and I just like love R&B so much, and she literally is like the queen of R&B, and what she can do, her vocal agility is definitely like has been inspiring for me in my vocals like since I was younger. So I would say her, and um, I mean. Who else? I love like the OG kind of like big performer girls like Janet, Brittany. Since I'm a dancer, I think I always try to like model after those girls and have music that I can dance to and but still has that flavor. So yeah, I would say them.
That's amazing. And, in addition to kind of acting, singing, you did have your TikTok series where you featured your 10-minute songs, with prompts from the fans. It garnered a lot of attention just for the uniqueness and the interactiveness that you had, on TikTok. Where did that kind of idea stem from? And can the fans kind of expect to see more of that in the future?
Yeah, it kind of just stemmed from that was something I was doing on my own as a challenge. Like, I want to see like how quickly I could write a song because obviously like, my dad's a songwriter and I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in a very musical household. So, songwriting was something of course I, got gravitated towards. I think probably when I turned 16, I really like started diving into it deeper. But yeah, I would do this by myself in my room. I started by giving myself an hour and then 45 minutes, then 30 minutes, and then I got down to like 10 minutes where I would kind of have a bit of a song done, and I would play the songs for my dad, and he was like, "These are good. Like you should record this process and see if people, find it interesting." So I did, and then the response, was really well, and yeah, it was received really positively, which, made me so much more confident as a songwriter. And yeah, I've gotten some really cool songs out of it too. I released an EP back in December of like 6 of the songs that I completely finished. So that was really fun, and all because of the fans and their support.
Do you find, like, kind of growing up now in the age of social media, that it is, made it easier for you to kind of be able to connect with fans? Do you think it's harder in terms of like kind of all eyes being on you in a different way? If you weren't to kind of come up in a time where social media wasn't, so prominent?
I mean, it's a double-edged sword for sure
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, I think it's so so special that you can connect with fans from all over the world and share your craft, and I mean, you always have an audience there. Like, and as a performer, what is a performer without an audience? And the fact that you can go on live, put up a video and have that immediate reaction and have that positive feedback, I think that's so beautiful. But then the other side of that is that, you're up for, public display, and people can,
Mm-hmm.
take things out of context, and it can be also a bit negative. So I think it's, for me, I gotta like have a balance. I'll post a video and like, respond to the positive comments, and then just kind of like try not to pay attention to anything that's negative because it definitely can be negative sometimes. So I really just try to focus on using it to connect with my fans and connect with people and share my art. And yeah, that's really all I can do.
Uh, that's extremely healthy to like kind of have those boundaries and, be accessible to an extent. Cause, I
Right.
think a lot of the people, the younger people are kind of too accessible to,
Mm,
and, sometimes that hurts. And, for your mental health, it really needs to be a balance. So it's
r-
great to hear that you kind of like respond to the positive and just kind of let everything else go.
right. Totally. I'm not one for like really stirring up drama or adding to drama. So yeah, I just try to steer clear of the trolls.
Uh-huh, that is the way to go. And as we start to kind of wind down, I like to add my signature question into all of my interviews. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
All right. So if you were to construct a donut based on Red's personality, what kind of donut would you choose and what toppings would be on it?
Ooh, I love that. I feel like it would be, I mean, obviously it would have to be some sort of like red velvet or maybe like a strawberry donut. I think a strawberry donut would
Mm.
be really good. Strawberry donut, and then on top red sprinkles, of course, some chocolate chips maybe or something, and then like a little strawberry drizzle. Gotta have it be red, of course.
Right, it has to be red themed. And your next EP is, supposed to be slated for fall. Is there anything you can kind of tease us about the type of music coming up outside of the Descendants realm?
Yeah, I mean, my music, I feel like I've really spent the last year like really honing in on my sound and it's going to be pop, it's going to be a little R&B, it's going to be fun, danceable, girl power. So yeah, going to be bringing a lot of that energy to my music this year, but I can't wait for everyone to hear what I've been working on.
Oh, that's amazing. And do you have like a kind of one of those, top tier somebody you would love to kind of sing with you on one of your songs for the future?
Ooh, I'm such a Charlie XCX fan. I think I'm obsessed with her latest album. And yeah, I would love to collaborate with her one day.
Oh, that would be amazing. We'll put that out into the world and hopefully that comes to fruition. And obviously the movie's coming out tomorrow on Disney Plus. What last message do you have for the fans, for them to get ready for the movie to come out?
Ugh, I just hope that this movie can just give fans everywhere an opportunity to bond with their friends. I just want this movie is really for the girls. So like a girly sleepover, a little hang, dress up as the characters, like play with your dolls, watch the films, learn the dances. And also like it can connect, the family and it's about mother and daughter relationships. So hopefully it can bond moms and daughters and this film is something that they can share together and watch together and kind of open up that conversation. So I just hope it gives people everywhere an opportunity to just bond with the people that they love and just have a fun time and yeah, sing and dance a little bit.
This movie is so much fun. Definitely a great continuation to the series. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I'm excited for the world to see, what the next gen of VKs have, been up to and the fans seeing some, familiar faces along the way.
Aw, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Of course, Kylie. You have a great day and hopefully we get to chat again in the future.
Sounds good. Thank you, Mackenzie.